by alone inside. He's got the breakaway with the touch to the right. Goal! Everything you wanted from this debut. It's Brandon by. Taking a shot with the left. Goal! Isaac Frank from 25 yards out. The equalizer. Will Kidd with the touch of the goal. It's a go-ahead goal. Minneapolis City.
This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club, brought to you by Summit Brewing Company.
This is the place to be for all of your holiday hangover needs. It is the People's Pitch Podcast, and I am your host, Nate, joined by America's sweet potato, John Bisworm. John, are you fully recalibrated after this long weekend of feasting?
Fully calibrated. However, I must caveat, I think sweet potatoes are fucking disgusting.
What?
I know. I've tried them. I've tried to like them. I just don't like them.
Oh, well, I mean, anytime you want to feast with me, I'll take all the sweet potatoes, man.
You know, you can have them all. But I'm ready to go, man. I missed last week. This is our 99th episode.
We're almost 100.
We're almost on 3 digits, which is, I mean, who would have thunk, right? When we were at Riley Hayes doing our first episode. Like, are we doing this right? So I'm pumped, man. And today is going to be another one of those shows that is going to be awesome. So
yeah, I think it says something about a team when their podcast reaches 100 episodes.
It does.
There's some longevity to the team there.
And we're increasing numbers instead of decreasing numbers. So, I mean, I think this is a winning combination.
Well, we got good stuff today as we say goodbye to November and cruise into what is going to be a very busy first week of December. First of all, Minnesota United has been in the news. They made some roster changes. There have been seating issues. We're going to talk about all of that. The NPSL,
Can't wait.
The NPSL annual owners meeting is in town next week, and I don't really get what the hell it's all about. So you're going to tell me, John, and I'm going to see I'm going to figure out if I should care about it or not. And then we're going to have a pink party here in the house tonight. We are joined by by Sonny from the NPSL Heartland Conference's Tulsa Athletic. And
I'm actually going to let Sonny do the annual owners meeting part because he is actually he's a board member. So I can tell you it's like all secret handshakes and like fancy backroom meetings, which it kind of is. But I would rather have a board member maybe explain a little bit about it to the layperson. But at the end of the day, if you don't get what you need, Nate, I'm always here for you.
All right.
But I did want to make a quick announcement, Nate, to mention we talked a little bit about awards for our city guys at college, our boys that are in the land of academia. We talked about the all-conference team members, but it's all region time, Nate. And, man, we are chocked full of crows flocking to these teams. From a Division III perspective, at St. Thomas, everyone's fan favorite, Will Kidd, made the all-region first team, as well as brief crow, Aiden Hogan, who has one career appearance with Minneapolis City. He made the first team all-region goalkeeper. From Augsburg, Lionel Vang, our U23 midfielder, who had some solid call-ups with our first team, as well as Luther, and I forget the name of the conference because it was one of those weird ones, but Luther midfielder and U23 member who also got quality call-up minutes, Aiden O'Driscoll, and then everybody's favorite Sammy with the good hair at Messiah made his all region first team as well. But we're not done, Nate. The second team, we had 3 more members on the second team, and that was McAllister's Max Kent, Gustavus's Arthur Perrins, and Luther's Harry Mears of our U23 team. Oh, and wow. the buck does not stop there. From a Division II perspective, everyone's favorite verb, Kevin Hoof. He hoofed the whole region, and he made the first team. So capping off his senior year, really proud of Kevin. I know he left all of it on the field for the folks up in Marquette, Michigan. So a whole slew of players, Nate. that we have contacted or have contacted us about trialing for the team this year, and that we will be getting those guys in house for a look coming here in not too distant future, right around the holiday break. Are sprinkled throughout all three teams from all different levels of divisions, from Division 1 all the way to Division 2 in these all region teams. And I don't want to name them because they are not official yet. So
Yeah, man.
But congratulations to our fellas. It really makes me proud. I'm a proud dad. I'm a proud soccer dad.
That's a huge list on top of the guys that we rattled off a couple weeks ago that just made, their all conference team or whatnot. I mean, just for guys to be regionally recognized in the entire division, whether it's Division 2 or Division 3, is pretty solid.
The only player who didn't make the all-region team from our connection was Jackson White, who was is basically going to be an academic All-American. I mean, the kid's a rocket scientist. So, but he didn't make, from a playing perspective, the all-region team. But outside of that, we're at like 95% making the all-region team. And if I had my vote, Aiden O'Driscoll will be on the All-America list. So let's cross our fingers for that. It'd be super sweet to have an All-American in our club. But more to come on that.
All right. So really quick, let's talk about our dysfunctional sister team, John. We don't get to a lot of Minnesota United news a lot because what's the point, really? We're a Minneapolis City podcast. But United had a couple of things that were newsworthy this week. The first of which is that they announced their roster changes for the off season, and they declined contract options on a huge chunk of players, including Alex Kapp, the third string keeper that never appeared in a game.
He did. He appeared against Minneapolis City twice.
Well, yeah, I guess in an open game, right?
Yeah.
France Pangop, the speedster who I wish everyone...
Cameroonian international.
Yeah, the Cameroonian international. The other Cameroonian, Bertrand Uwundi Ekuo, gone. Colin Warner, unfortunately, gone. Fernando Bob, my favorite Bob on Minnesota United, gone.
Fernando.
Matt Lampson, unfortunately, although a really good guy, unfortunately a really bad goalkeeper for us, so gone. And Mark Birch, best man bun on the team, gone. And then really the ones that hurt for me, Ibsen, my best friend, gone, not returning. And neither is Jerome Tiasson, who I think had the most heartfelt goodbye of all the players. Did you see this, John? He recorded it basically in the lobby,
in the hallway, hallway.
Clearly, after getting the news that he would not return, so he's super emotional. It was so sad. You feel so bad for him.
I think out of that list that you mentioned, I would think that he and I mean Ibsen's aging, and like him or hate him, Ibsen was probably the most technical player on the team, and we've talked about it before that a lot of his distribution goes for naught because the players around him weren't making the proper runs. But as he's getting older, he can't recover when he loses the ball and things along those lines. But I think out of that list, those two that I mentioned, but Matt Lampson, from a PR perspective, the club put a lot of legs into him with all the great things he does for the community, with cancer research, being a survivor himself off the field. It's sad to see him go, but it's the nature of the business, man. When you get to that level, it's a soccer franchise from a professional perspective, and you don't get to keep the people you like.
That's true. I didn't mention. So those are the guys that all had an option, a club option for this next year that weren't picked up. Guys that did not have a club option that were just straight up out of contract that are gone are Johan Venegas and Harrison Heath, who I think got red carded into retirement, basically.
He got sent off into retirement.
Yep. And then we lost two guys that were on loan that are also like see you later kind of guys. Maximiano back to Fulminays, and Alexi Gomez back to where he came from, Peru or Colombia or something, which is great. Alexi Gomez sucked for us. So in general, I'm going to say nice to know you to these guys, but Ibsen and Jerry kind of hurts. The biggest issue, though, for me, John, is we just jettisoned 13 out of 30 players on the roster. So right now, the United, if they sign Eric Miller, if that all works out, they still don't have enough players to fill a full game day roster. And the ones that we have are kind of questionably fit to play every day. So not really the look that you want to have leading into the third year of your this vaunted 3-year plan to basically have to rebuild half your squad.
Right. And I think one thing to note before I get into my portion of this is there's also 3 of those 13 players that will not get protected for the new franchise draft for the
3 of those 17 that are staying, you mean?
Yeah. So 3 of them don't get protected, which means they'll be available to be picked in the expansion draft. So
I didn't think about that.
So out of all of those players, you probably don't protect your rookies because, a team would have to want to take a flyer on a guy that's unproven from another team. So you'd probably think that Carter Manley and Wyatt Olmsberg are guys that are going to be on that list, but you never know. I mean, back in the day, the Houston Dynamo figured that an aging Brian Ching, who was a franchise guy for the Dynamo and a very, very good performer at the MLS level and somewhat at the international level, they didn't protect him, and they saw the Montreal Impact pick him up as their number 1 pick, which totally backfired on them. And then they had to give up supplemental draft picks to get him back. So
they wanted him back.
They wanted him back. So you hope that the powers that be at United aren't thinking they would leave a player of a higher caliber unprotected for that expansion draft. But in general, Nate, here's my take on things. It's no surprise to anyone that follows Minnesota United that the lion's share of those players they brought in did not work. And I get it. This basically to me is a hit the refresh button, and we tried some stuff. It didn't work. We learned from it. We're just going to clear the room, and we're going to keep what we know is quality and what's coming off of injury that we had with Molino and what's his nuts Finley, Ethan Finley. And so we'll see what those guys do, but those guys are of quality, so that's why they're sticking around. But the rest of the guys, I get it. It's from a franchise perspective, this is them showing that they're publicly showing that what they tried didn't work, whether they say it or not. Mm-hmm. And you have to believe that now that frees up room to go after a higher caliber of player and also really formulate a system of play and bring in the players that can actually play that system instead of trying to fill gaps. Do we need like a 10th winger when we signed Franz Pangop? Probably not, but they saw something in him that they liked and they brought him in. Now is gone that methodology, and they're thinking through, okay, we no more square peg round hole and more square peg square hole. And I think that's how they're gonna do it moving forward.
You think that they were kind of taking a flyer on some of these guys because they felt like they had the flexibility to do that, or it feels like
part of it.
Go ahead.
Nate, sorry to interrupt you. Part of it is they needed warm bodies at certain points in the season, mm-hmm. And you look at, I'll just keep picking on Pangop because I saw him feature against us more than he did at the MLS level when we played against them. But I didn't see what they saw in him when he did play at the MLS level and when he played against our teams that we played against them behind closed doors. Yeah. So you have to think that it was like a holy shit, we need a winger because someone's hurt moment, and less of like an Alexi Gomez who was a proven player at his level but just didn't perform in the MLS. Yeah. So, I that's what I have to believe, and I think that's what's going on. But unless I'm getting paid the big bucks, I have no clue what's going on.
I think there was some level of excitement during each of these scouting stages that Minnesota United went through. Whether it was this trip to Scandinavia to scout, whether it was the trip to Central America, the trip to South America, the trip to Africa, right? And when you think about it, all these guys that everyone got so excited over or were really hopeful about, excuse me, they're all pretty much out the door except for Calvo and Schuler, right?
Pretty much.
The African trip, not worth it. Angelo Rodriguez, I guess, who he of the penalty kick highlight reel. So I've yet to see a whole ton of flash out of this guy, but I think maybe Romario Ibarra worked out really well. Will work out well. Obviously, Quintero worked out super well. So that sort of central to northern South America trip seemed to be great, but like everything else has been a wash. So you got to hope that the club either has wised up or has changed their methodology and how they're evaluating players. Because if that's the percentage that we're going to hope to keep out of this next crop of 17 guys we hope to fill the roster with, I don't feel very good about it.
Right. I mean, hey, you never know.
Yeah. But I am kind of soured on the team because I've got this other story to tell about Minnesota United that has kind of been stuck in my craw for this last week. I teased it a few weeks ago on my personal Twitter, I think, or was it on our Twitter? I can't remember. But now I've got the full picture here, and I want to tell the story because it's so bizarre. So I'm a season ticket holder, as some people may know. I see a lot of our listeners and a lot of City fans at the games, and I got a call on the 14th saying that they ran into a situation with the final seating install, and one of the seats that I have chosen for the 2019 season was not there. And so that was a weird voicemail to get. You can't make this up. So I called him back and talked to this nice guy, and he basically explained to me that the realities of the physical space, of course, did not match the architectural renderings that they sold everyone's season tickets against. So not just me was affected. I think it sounds like our entire section, well, I'll be in section 33, lost to the 18th seat out of the thing. So anyone that had seat 18 from rows 1 to however many 30, you're out of luck. You're going to have to pick new seats. I didn't. I had seats something like 14 or 15, so I was a little confused as to like why are my seats not there? Did you not install 3 seats out of the row, or what's going on? So I was kind of shocked and surprised, so I took my consolation seats. They moved me a couple rows back and a little bit into the aisle, right? So I at least got the aisle, but then I realized, like, wait, if I'm going to sit on this aisle and the seats are going to be 16 and 17, why is my seat 16, just a couple rows down, not there? Like, are you guys lying to me? Are you making something up? What's going on? So it turns out that what they did for this entire section is that anyone who had lost a seat on 18 got to pick a new seat based on your initial seating pick priority. So most people, you figure if they're on the aisle, they probably had a higher priority because aisle seats are real nice. So all these people got to pick where they wanted to go instead, and basically got to bump us in the rest of the section out of our seats.
A trickle-down effect.
And then we got kicked into the system to keep picking where we wanted to go. To the effect that, like, some people who thought they would be in section 33, pretty nice, close to midfield section, now are not in section 33. So I want to hear. I put it out on Twitter. I heard a lot of people saying, like, classic United, like it was kind of a joke. But I really do want to hear, like, who in section 33 was affected, if there's any listeners out there that maybe just happened to be in my section, or really how far spread was this throughout the stadium? That's
a really good point.
Are there people that are season ticket holders on the complete opposite side of the stadium that this affected? I know it probably affected it sounds like it affected a number of midfield area sections. How far did it go? How many people lost their seat? How many people did Minnesota United have to really shuffle around because they decided to sell tickets before they realized exactly which seats were going to be in their stadium? So anyone out there, please feel free to email us at mplscity, at the People's Pitch podcast at gmail.com. That's what you wanted. No, what the hell's our email, John?
MCSC podcast at gmail.com.
Thank you,
you dummy.
I've only done this 99 times.
Right, exactly. My whole take on the situation, not coming from a non-season ticket holder perspective, is this is a total ready, fire, aim situation where they were like jumping the gun and trying to field this new beautiful stadium, and they hit a no shit moment. And now my task for the club is, what do you do next? How do you fix this? And how do you minimize the impact that this could have, because how many, to your point, how many people were affected by this outside of your section? If this is every section, let's do the math on how many people don't become season ticket holders because of that situation, and that it becomes a serious issue then after.
Well, you know what fucking sucks the most, John, is that the attitude.
I'm pretty sure I know.
The attitude at the end that they took with us was basically, with me, and I think probably anyone else, was like, "Hey, you're just lucky to stay in your section. Like you still have pretty good seats. You're lucky to be there. There are people that had to move out of it, right? Oh, well, that's great. But really, the thing is like, we really have no leverage because they've got the fucking preserve or whatever, this waiting list society that apparently people are just clamoring to get into the stadium. So even if I were to be the guy that put my foot down and was like, well, then you don't have my business, United doesn't give a shit because there's a list of 500 other suckers that would take my seats in a second.
Yeah, I mean,
I felt pretty that made me feel pretty bad throughout this whole process. Is like, does it really matter how mad I am? Probably.
For those listening out there, if you are mad and you want to have a solution to this whole thing, for $60, not only do you get season tickets to Minneapolis City, but you also get a fancy new membership scarf, a little credit card ticket thing, and a chance to make what we've created your own, being part of our club.
You know what's crazy is I was thinking about this is like how different the Minneapolis City experience is from Minnesota United. Like, you want to bring a giant cooler full of beer into the stadium? You can probably do that. We don't need. It doesn't need to be in a tiny clear bag, right?
Do you want to dress in a furry costume? Go ahead.
Do it. You want to pop smoke? You're not supposed to, but we might let you on rare occasions.
Right. It is totally different. It's like the only rule is like, if you're a child, don't sit close to this rope.
Yeah, basically.
Because you will hear swear words.
You're gonna hear
it's pretty much
swears. You're gonna hear some swears. Anyway, very different
Well,
experience.
I hope they clear it up for you, Nate, and for all of the listeners that may be affected. Getting more people into watching the beautiful game at whatever level it is important to me. So I hope it gets cleared up for folks.
Yeah, me too.
Whether you've noticed it or not, we have been bringing on owners and managers of some of the best and most interesting lower division soccer clubs over the past few weeks as we lead up to our very special 100th episode. And this week, being our 99th episode, is no different. And we are pleased to welcome an NPSL board member, a famous restaurateur, and the owner of Tulsa Athletic, the one and only Sonny D'Alessandro. Sonny, it seems like only yesterday we were together about a year ago on the mean streets of New Orleans, enjoying a few laughs about fourth-tier soccer. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. I think it's important to start this off by saying none of what you just said about me is true. No, thanks for
all
lies.
Me.
What is this? So this is the Wayne Gretzky edition, right? Is there who's a better? Oh, how about the Mark Gastineau? Was he a 99 or a 92?
Let's pretend he was 99. I like that reference.
Yeah, all right. I'll go with Gastineau. He was a terrible human, though, right?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was very good to his daughter, but apparently outside of that, he was a terrible human.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. And we've got to be real careful because I do one of these things also, and mine devolves into talking about fucking nothing in 4 minutes. So
that was it took 30 seconds.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you pretty much follow the same script we do. It must be like something that the NPSL hands out to owners that you have to divulge into soccer for a third of your podcast, and the rest of the time is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I have a 5-step process for when I wipe my ass, seriously, and our podcast hits on that probably 65%. It just gravitates towards that shit. So
it totally does. Well, we'll try to keep us on track here. So before we dive into you and everything that you represent in Oklahoma, we have a little thing called the NPSL annual owners meeting that's ascending on the great city of Minneapolis next week. And seeing that you're a member of the board, I could answer questions about basics of what the meeting is, but can you tell us, our listeners, a little bit about what this meeting is and kind of the types of things that are discussed and that go on during the meeting?
No. Yes. So, I mean, I think it's a really cool thing that's unique about our league is, it's a big league. There's 100 teams. So and it's, I think, to my knowledge, the only member-run organization in the United States in terms of a soccer league. So it's an opportunity for, us to come together once a year and kind of be that democratic society and be able to have a voice. And, there's the elections of the new board members. And, there's some really, so I don't want to say like tedious or anything, but like sometimes a guy will go up and like, this is how our insurance works. And I'm like, I'm going to do my best to stay awake, but,
I mean, there's business to be done, right?
There is. To be honest, it's a big business meeting, and we talk about the direction the league is going in. I mean, there's the financials and the budget, and to U.S. Open Cup stuff, and philosophically where we want to be in 5 years, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a bunch of soccer dorks in a room for 3 days. So I mean, it's our weird little heaven, I guess.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, you go to none of that boring stuff, and then you just go to all the fun stuff afterwards. That's really, really how you should do it.
I know, and I used to be, I don't want to say like the exact same way, because I dig the nerdy stuff too, but I really test myself over these 3 days. Like I spread myself so thin, because I pride myself on being like up, showered, and like not smelling terrible in the mornings when I go to these meetings, and yet like I like to be the last man standing at night as well. So I'll get back from, I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad I don't have to do this for another year, because I've got a total like 6 hours sleep over 3 days. So
it's really hard living the cockroach life. I know it very well.
The cockroach life is real.
No, for real. Well, and they do it in like, what they need to do is, it's like next year's meeting is in Toledo. I mean, no offense to all of the Toledo listeners you guys have, I'm sure, but
they know that already?
Yeah, it's like they do it in New Orleans and New York and San Diego, and Minneapolis is going to be fucking great. So they do it in these places where there's just all the fun to be had, and then they expect people like me to be like focused and productive. So I wear the two hats, but it is taxing. Like it's a hard 3 day push for sure.
It should just be like in some barn in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. No, that's exactly right. Like it should be. I'm all for. I mean, I can't bring up Toledo twice, but we just
Amish country
Chattanooga every year.
So it should basically be a kegger at the Moon Tower, is what you're saying.
I mean, I think we're wandering back. I think it should be at church. That's what it should be. It should be at church. Because like the least possible ways for me to go astray during the meeting. Like I think I could conduct myself most reasonably if it was just like in a church and there was nothing else to do. So
I would pretend like I have to go to the bathroom at least once every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'd have to deal with burning skin for like the entire time.
So now let's talk about the things that people really want to hear about. So for those people in these parts that listen to our show, they don't really know you from Adam, but right. Basically, from what I know, is you're a visionary in sport before it was cool for athletes to jump from high school right to professional sports, as you left your successful goalkeeper post in high school at the tender age of 17 to sign a pro contract with the Tulsa Roughnecks of the USISL. Tell us a little bit more about your playing side of things from your career perspective.
Are you just straight jacking my wiki page like right there? That was super well rehearsed.
I mean, this is a professionally amateur podcast, Sonny, so we have to do some level of journalism.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was a fucking awful student. I knew what I did not want to do, which was anything that related to like school or work. So, I was a decent young player. I saw you called me from a Milwaukee number. That's kind of where I cut my teeth with the Milwaukee Wave in 1996. I was like 18 or 19. Which was kind of the real deal. Like the Roughnecks was great. I got to play with, some of my heroes. And, I think, and I don't want to get off on tangents, but like I was a kid, I was like 17 or 18, and I think that not enough kids do that, playing with grown men and being like, hey, this is how fast the game goes. Get used to it. You're going to have to do it at some point. So I thought that was really valuable. But yeah, my pro career really started in Milwaukee in 96, 97 there. And yeah, I mean, I was a bad student. I love playing soccer. So I went out and made fucking hundreds of dollars a year. And here I am taking my apron off after a night of making spaghetti for people, and I'm on a low rent podcast. I mean, it's
lucrative.
Hey, whoa, low rent. Come on.
I only say low rent because I'm on it, though.
We use only the finest free software.
Well, and your listener should know that like we spent a real 35-40 minutes just figuring out how to like make us connect and talk. So I take the lion's share of the blame for that. But yeah, no, yeah, I did a little soccering in my youth. Was there a follow-up piece to that? It's like, how did we go from there to where I'm at?
Oh, we're definitely going to get there, but a brief caveat is knowing that your stomping grounds were Milwaukee for part of your career, and that's where I am from. What were the hot spots in town at that time that you used to frequent when you were a professional soccer player in Milwaukee?
Man, I don't even really remember. Like no lie, I was 19, so I was getting snuck into places. And the Dusaskis were young. Well, I only played with Todd when I was there, so for a year. So like honestly, the hot spots were, I mean, on the road, I'd get snuck into a couple of spots. I can tell you, I'd love to travel. I love to eat. I love to booze when I go around. But Milwaukee is actually a city I don't know very well because I was so young when I was there. It was basically to training every day and back, and then to the Bradley Center on game days. I mean, you can. I'm a little.
Can anyone really know Milwaukee though?
Yes, you can, and that's my follow-up. Is that now knowing what we know that you don't really remember it? It seems as if you and I need to make a pilgrimage back to Milwaukee together, and we can experience my taste of Milwaukee and where I used to go, and then connect all of those dots in your brain that don't remember.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I want that. I mean, I literally lived in like Lily White, Wauwatosa when I was there. That's where I was kicking it. I mean, I drove past Jeffrey Dahmer's house and the Pabst Blue Ribbon Brewery, which for those of you who don't know, looks like a cartoon castle with like bricks that really do probably fall off the building during the year. Have I told you about my Pabst Blue Ribbon? Like I've got a mission for Pabst Blue Ribbon.
No.
Well, they won the Blue Ribbon in 1893, right? I think you'll have to check me on that, but I want to very inconveniently lobby for them to win America's finest beer again, so that they have to like change their packaging up and have to change the name to Pabst Blue Ribbons.
Just
add the S.
Yeah, just add the S.
Yeah, just add the S. Do you really drink? You drink Pabst, don't you?
I mean, I do. It's not my go-to, but it's
your profile picture on this video call right now.
Well, yeah, I started my Gmail account that we're using. Spoiler alert: we're using Google Hangouts for our podcast today. I like created that when I was in like college, so of course it's my fucking profile picture. But yeah, I do drink it.
Yeah, it's okay. All right.
So Sonny, I think so far the interview will tip people off to this, but we've talked to good many goalkeepers on the show in the past, and they've all been just a little like off in a positive way. And I think they all attribute it to the fact that like you're on an island all by yourself for most of the game, nobody near you, and you're kind of alone with your thoughts. And that leads to your mind having to, keep you engaged, and things can get a little weird in your world. What's the weirdest kind of stuff that you think about, or the weirdest stuff that you've done when you're kind of all alone down there between the posts?
Well, I think that what I can do for you with that question is say those other goalkeepers are fucking idiots, and I like to get involved. If you really want to dig into that wiki page, I believe I'm America's all-time leading goal-scoring goalkeeper with 3.
What?
Yeah, yeah, bro. Take that, Tim Howard. Two to go, homie. Um, so, I mean, are we weird? How dare you? Yeah, no, we're fucking weirdos. What goes through my head? Nothing really awesome. Like, I struggle to focus just in life in general. I'm a creative person, which usually means I don't do well at focusing on stuff. So my thoughts were basically like, pay the fuck attention, because if you're floaty, like, I'm not gonna get the job done. So I don't know. When I was in big games and stuff, I tried to kind of lock in and just play my chess back there, move my pieces, direct everything, and keep my lines clean, and just communicate. I think like anyone else who played the position when they were younger, like, you do have time to see if there are attractive women, which, that can contribute to, like, will I dive into the post tonight to keep one out? Yep, I will. Um, no, it is a weird position, because you are just kind of isolated. But if you ask some of my former teammates, like, anything that wasn't a close game, like, I had to have been like the worst goalkeeper teammate to have. I drew a penalty in the other team's box one time. Like, I got taken down in their box because we were up by a fairly wide margin, and I was just like, I'm not going back on that half of the field. That's half stupid. I got smacked,
What?
and
So
I got
you
taken down
just
for a penalty.
so wait, you just decided, this is not for me. I'm just gonna start attacking.
Yeah, well, it was like senior year of high school, or no, it was junior year of high school. It was like a Friday night game in a tournament, and we were paired with like a younger team, and it was bad. Like, it had gotten out of hand. The guys were pissed about having to play on a Friday, and so we had an old English coach that played at like Fulham and Leicester, and he knew that, like, there was no controlling the boys. That he was pissed that we had to play on the Friday as well. So he just kind of was like, look, don't any of you get hurt. And yeah, I didn't go on my half of the field for that game.
So I did promise we would get back to how things ultimately translate. So you ultimately partnered with one of your friends to conceive and launch your kind of next and current soccer project in Tulsa Athletic. Dive a little bit deeper into how that idea came about and why in God's name you decided to embark on ownership of lower tier soccer.
Well, that's a great question. And that's I've actually told very, very few people this. But I was what, 34 or 35, and I never liked the way my career ended. Like, I had a fairly short professional career. Like, I only played a couple of years, and I started getting nervy at the end of my career, like, and it was affecting the way I was playing, and I kind of just went out because I wasn't performing, because I couldn't keep, like, my nerves in control. It's super embarrassing to say, but like that affected the level I was playing at, and it kind of cost me my career at a fairly young age. So it always sat really, like, wrong with me. And an indoor league started back up. They started up another iteration of the MISL, and like Milwaukee came down to play Wichita. So I drove up to Wichita, and a couple of my buddies, I played in both cities, and like, there's a guy, Giuliano Olivero, that played for Milwaukee. He was the assistant coach, and
he's the head coach now.
He's the head coach now. He was assistant at the time, Keith, because Keith was still there. And a couple of my guys in Wichita were there, and they're like, look, man, our backup's terrible. Like, you should just come up and play. And, I start to kick it around and, think maybe I can have like a better ending to how things went out. Cause it's a weird thing, and it can bleed over into other parts of your life and things that you do. And I was like, I would love to write that shit. Like, that would be a great thing for me to do. And so I start training like 4 or 5 times a week. I get myself fit. Like, I get myself indoor fit. And something at the restaurant happened. Like I think we lost a dishwasher or a cook or something. And this this question just popped up, like, am I really about to move to Wichita for 6 months to play in 9 games for $1,500 a month tops, and just like leave my business just sitting here? And it was like this real come to Jesus moment where I was like, hey man, like you don't always get this storybook ESPN 30 for 30 ending to your career. Like sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. And the thing that became really apparent, really clear was like I still had and will always have this almost unhealthy competitive side to myself. So I had to figure out a home for that and a way to channel that. So there was nothing had been good in Tulsa since the late 70s, early 80s. We had an amazing NASL team here. Like we rivaled you guys for attendance, and we're nothing. Like we're Tulsa, we're a very small city, and yet we were getting 30,000, 35,000 people when the Cosmos were playing, and we were in the top 4 in attendance every year. So yeah, the old NASL Tulsa Roughnecks had a ridiculous following. So Tulsa has this really weird soccer niche. And I got with a buddy of mine who I had known since kindergarten, who played a couple of years at Brown. He's a doctor and much smarter than I am. And I said, hey, look, why don't we do this thing here? Like, why don't we bring an NPSL team here? And there had been one in Tulsa a couple of years before ours. So we went and we had a discussion with them, and we ended up buying it for like $2,000 more than what the franchises were at the time, which was like, I don't know, $8,000 or $10,000 or whatever. So we buy this thing. Actually, before that, we sat down with his wife because he's like, look, I'm married. This seems like a project that could take up a bit of our time. I want to bring my wife into the discussion. So they come down for dinner at the restaurant. And I'm kind of explaining, what the league is, what we're looking to do, a couple of ideas that we had for where we were going to play. And she turns to him and she goes, look, Tom, if that's my business partner, Tommy Kern, Dr. Kern. She goes, look, Tom, if this is going to be your midlife crisis, man, it beats the fuck out of you buying a motorcycle. And yeah, that was kind of the genesis of it. Was, we met and we went from there, and then we got a hold through months of discussions with the county. It shouldn't have been as hard to do as it was, but we got a hold of like this old baseball stadium that has sat dormant for 5 years. And because we wanted to have beer, like that was the whole thing. It's like, we don't want to play at a fucking high school. Like beer is a part of sports, and we want it to be prevalent at our games, and we want our fans to come and have a good, responsible time. So yeah, I think we marketed it pretty well. And I think the timing of it was really, really good for Tulsa. And we didn't know what to expect. Our season ticket numbers looked pretty good, but I'll never forget the day of our first game. A lift went out, which, if there are any plumbers that listen out there, they like basically they're what take all the shit away, and it broke. And so we call the county, and it's in our lease that they have to fix it. They're furious because I'm sure it was like $10,000 or $15,000 to fix this fucking thing, because they're all, it's from it's from an 11,000 seat baseball stadium. So this guy's over here, and I'm up setting up all kinds of shit. Like, our facility was a big facility. I'll send you guys some pictures after this. But I was walking by this guy, and he's talking to the other guys. I don't even know why we're fixing this thing. There's not going to be 100 people here tonight. I'm like, man, fuck you. And it was just the coolest thing, John and Nate. Like, well, I think we ended up with like 4,200 people.
What?
Opening night. Yeah. And it was just magic. We had 8 players that did not receive international clearance, so we got completely fucked on the deal. And again, I'm just kind of tangenting along here, but
what's funny is we talked to Johnny Wardlaw from Little Rock, and he had a similar story where, like, on his first night there was like way more fans than he could have ever expected.
Oh yeah,
and stupid me for, a guy from Minneapolis who, the greatest soccer city in the world or whatever. Like, obviously, we would never expect to get, and Minneapolis City didn't expect to get so many people in the first game. But you guys both have told these stories, being from somewhere
Right.
like Tulsa, somewhere like Little Rock, like down south. Who knew soccer was so secretly huge?
Right. Well, yeah, and I think ours had a lot to do with how big it had been here. Um,
Yeah, because
you
the
know, and,
Roughnecks.
and that there just been a gap in putting a product out there that had, lived up to that. And I'm a huge soccer nerd. I'm also a huge Tulsa nerd too. So like, I don't want to say we were the first, but like we had a bunch of local food trucks like parked next to the field in the part of the outfield that we weren't using. And like I had local graffiti artists come down and just tag the fuck out of the wall with like some really dope, like Tulsa athletics centric shit. And it just had this great feel to it. And
Yeah, I mean,
the,
you
the
guys, it's a party in the park, right?
yeah, well, yeah, that's us now. I mean, it was this just really grassroots organic thing that popped up. Um, and yeah, to finish the opening night story real quick, there's like I'm running everywhere and I'm in the merch shed or whatever. And this lady comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, Wally's playing tonight. We're excited. We're like really excited for him." And Wally was like this guy he was a training player. He was maybe squad rotation, like decent player, whatever. But he was getting his chance. I'm just kind of not. I'm like, yeah, he's been working hard. I'm glad he's getting his chance. Blah blah blah. Like I know he's not going to get any time, and but he's on the bench tonight because we had 8 players not get international clearance.
Yep.
And this game was with a team called Liverpool, and they were out of Dallas, like a Liverpool academy type of team or whatever. And 0-0 at halftime. We go up 1-0. It goes to 1-1. Their guy, this massive crowd, massive supporters group for the game too. And this guy runs in front of our supporters group and shushes them. And we go up 2-1, and then they score again to go 2-2 with about 15 minutes left, and he shushes our supporters group again. And it's our first night. Like, we're just glad that like nothing's on fire, that the fire marshal's not there and pissed. Like, no one's fallen over any rails. Like, holy shit, like this is gonna work. And they sub our guy Wally on, and the shit still gives me like goosebumps. But like, 88th minute, a ball comes. My man fucking lays out, diving header, fucking 3-2, the dagger, runs over to their fucking bench to the fucking dude that scores twice and just shushes him. And after that moment, like he's been Sir Walter Hubbard and has like a bronze statue that I keep in my office forever. And it was just like this magic beginning.
Yeah.
We really connected with our community. We hit it at the right time. We went on to average like 3,500 fans a game that first year. We had 6,000 against Club America's U20s. I think we ended up being like number 31 or 32 in the U.S. that year for soccer attendance, which 3,500 was a significant figure and still is. It still is. So yeah, that was kind of how it was born, man. It was super cool. I knew a little bit about how front offices, like what players did and didn't like, and I knew what Tulsa kind of did and didn't like, and we packaged it together and threw it out there, and it was cool. It's really cool.
So, Sonny, you brought up a couple times, your restaurant, and you had to leave your business. You didn't want to leave your business and things like that. So you own and run a sounds like an Italian restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that was
my dad.
that was also. I guess the thing is that was my previous life too. Before I got into advertising and before I got into soccer was, running bars and restaurants. And I wanted to know if you see any similarities, not necessarily day to day, but just from a big picture standpoint in running a restaurant versus a lower division soccer team. Like, I know that it's total chaos day to day. You're hoping people show up. You're hoping you can hire the right people. There's always a fire to put out, literally or figuratively. Does that translate to running this, to the Tulsa Athletic?
Well, I think that's a really cool question. I think what's really interesting about your question is I think I see it in almost an opposite way. So I think the big picture thing has less to do with it than like the day-to-day stuff does.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like we entertain stomachs here and we just are entertainment with that, but like it's an experience, right? So I was the one at the games when people were leaving, was like, hey, thanks for coming, like we really appreciate you. I cook at the restaurant and every whatever else needs doing, but like when I'm out front and got my coat on or whatever and people leave, like I'm always like, hey, thank you guys for coming in, I really appreciate it, it's good to see you guys. And so it's it's about, I've always kind of wanted to make sure that the experience at the moment is as good as it can be, and there's a lot of planning that goes into that. But once you're off and rolling, like I think the similarities for me is I want that almost personal connection with the people at the game, and there's different ways that you reach people at a soccer game than a restaurant, obviously, but I think the idea is the same, that like you want to feel like, hey, we were in this together, like we wanted the same thing, and everything was great to your liking. And whether it be like you deserve a Michelin star, or whether, yeah, that's 3 fucking points, buddy, like let's go. So yeah, that's a cool question. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about creating an atmosphere, whether it's in the 4 walls of your restaurant or whether it's in the stadium, that makes people want to come back, and that's a great way to approach your business and a great perspective to have.
For what it's worth, I wrote that question just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, we can chuck you a half point.
Yeah. So there's an issue. We kind of talked about it when we were trying to get everything worked out technically, but it sounds like there's an issue with your name, right? Like the fact that you have to use athletic versus athletics, and that there's still some back and forth around that. What's going on?
Okay, I want to answer that question, but what I want to do real quick is have like this mid-interview timeout, and I want to put Johnny Business on blast real quick. So get this. I get this Twitter message and he's like, hey man, I hear you're coming to town, you want to jump on the podcast? Like, yeah, that sounds great. And he goes, well, I really we want you on the lead up to our 100th show. I would really like to talk more about LR. And I'm like, this fucking guy.
You got form lettered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew what he meant, but I responded, I'm like, happy to come on. What's LR? And this fucking guy writes, a typo, should have been TA. My man used one of my arch rivals. It's like me saying, yeah, I'm happy to be on with. I love Duluth. It's a great place. It's a great place in the summertime.
The first rule of making a mistake is never admit to it, and at all costs.
No, exactly.
I have another mistake. When you come into town and we're off air, I have another big mistake I made in the soccer world recently with our friends at the new USL team in Madison, and that story is reserved for off air. But I can top that, what I did to you with what I did to them.
Nice.
To be fair,
if Peter Wilt's involved, it's always a good story,
right?
So we get this letter in year 2 from the Oakland Athletics, and they're like, hey, you can't use athletics. And I was like, what? Like, why? And they go into like all these ridiculous reasons of like, first, I didn't even think it was real. I was like, why is a Major League Baseball team's attorneys calling me? Like, that's ridiculous. And so it boiled down to their argument is, and this is still an ongoing thing that I probably can't talk about, but I absolutely will on this podcast.
They'll never find us.
Yeah, no. Hopefully it brings you like a bunch of like rabid baseball fans.
But yeah, that's the last fucking thing we need.
Yeah, exactly. So they cite things like it creates confusion in the marketplace, to which I'm like, hey man, I'm going to be real honest with you. Like, yeah, we do play in a baseball stadium, but not one time has anyone been like, hey Gary, the Yankees aren't playing the Oakland A's. These are 2 soccer teams in the middle of Tulsa. Like, I think we got this one wrong. So it's like super unrealistic. And at one point there was a settlement call. They called me for settlement, and I went to school with a girl who's like, it's like a super high powered. She went to Yale, and it's like a super high powered New York attorney type. And she's like, instructed me on how to take the call. So they're like, yeah, this is a settlement call. We just want to go over that. We're going to say that in the beginning. And we're like, okay, I'm to the end of this name. Like, we are pretty much married to it, but if you want to write me a check for, I forget what the amount was. It was like either $50,000 or $100,000. I was like, we'll work with it. We'll drop the S or whatever. And they were obviously not expecting that. They were like, no, we're gonna let you license it from us and shit like that. And at that point, I was like, man, fuck you guys. I'm just gonna kind of let this shit go. But we ended up. What sucked was I went to the USPTO, the trademark office, and filled out everything, stated my case, and they issued me my word mark and my trademark. So I was like, cool, this is done and dusted. And then I got a letter from them. They're like, we mistakenly issued you your word mark and your trademark. And I'm like, God damn it. So this has to continue to go on. So
What?
yeah, I wrote this piece in a local rag here called the Tulsa Voice, and they were kind enough to publish it. It's really funny. I'll send it to you guys too if you have like a link online to your podcast. If your fans want to read it, it's very funny. A friend of mine helped me write it. I wrote it, and he kind of edited it and stuff. He writes on this HBO show called Barry, so he's like a super.
Shut up.
Yeah, a guy I went to high school with. Well, Bill Hader's a Tulsa guy. Like I went to high school with Bill, so his best friend is a really good friend of mine. Who?
No way.
Yeah. That's all right. I'm like some star fucker fanboy. But
sure sounds like it. That's just me though.
No, but my buddy's a really funny guy, and like I sent him this, and he's like, dude, this is so stupid. Like, let me clean a few things up and like help me write this thing. And it went out in this rag and like was really well received. And it's very funny. I'll send it to you, but yeah, it just kind of encapsulates the David versus Goliath. And the end of it is the picture of it is me spinning a ball on my middle finger with like the Crest shirt on. And the end of the story is like, look, you can have your fucking S. Like, we'll be Tulsa Athletic. It's a traditional suffix for teams. Like, you can take the S, but you're not really going to take the spirit of what our club is. So
That's right.
yeah, there's big money dickhead lawyers. And a guy read the article and has been doing some pro bono work on it for us, which has been really nice. And I think we're probably actually just going to keep Athletic at this point rather than bouncing it back. We were looking at maybe piggybacking off of the Las Vegas hockey team, because they're big money lawyering some people to keep the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
So yeah, someone else has that, but they're doing what we
That's
should have
Army,
done, but
right?
we don't have the money to do it. Yeah, so we were going to see if they set a precedent, which we could kind of piggyback off of, but at this point, I don't really want to change it again. So I think we're just going to leave it. I do the color for our games. I call us the Athletics all the time. People that call it the Athletics are fine. Like, you guys can call us the Athletics. It's who we were born as. It's a name that we still welcome and embrace. I don't care if they hear this, whatever. But yeah, officially on the record, we are Tulsa Athletic, and
I have a great idea. Listening to this story, and obviously being one that sides the little guy in these type of arguments, we have to get all of your fans, all of our fans together to around the clock monitor the URL that the Oakland Athletics have purchased. And as soon as that shit goes into sale again, when they have to re-up it, it's an immediate bat signal that the first person who's there buys it. And then you have to get their lawyers on the phone for when they want that shit back. And then you get your $100,000.
Yeah, I love it. I will split it with you guys 99-1. You can have the 99%. I just am down for some fuckery with these baseball assholes. What's funny is, like, I forget who it was. It might have been Peter Wilt that sent an email through. I'll have to remember. One of the guys in the A's front office, they got a hold of the story, because, like, I don't know. I forget if I probably brought Billy Bean up in this story a couple times, but
well, that'll
anyways,
do it.
like, they got, like their front office gets a hold of the article, and they fucking love it. Like, they think it's hilarious. And anyways, I was blind carbon copied on one of these email chains, and they're like, "Oh, dude, we love this article. Like, total bummer. We can't really call off these dogs. It's what they do. But like, just for the record, like, we're not our attorneys. They're assholes." So it's kind of a bummer that that's how that works when you get that big, how it's sectioned off and just like the legal team handles. They're basically glorified and like corporate ambulance chasers who just monitor their
Right.
word mark and trademark and fuck with people. But yeah, it's a bummer, and like I said, I'm all about messing with them. So yeah, if you want to set that up, you let me know what I need to do.
Sounds good.
Well, speaking of messing with people, man, we have found through our experience that there is really nothing better than beating a team wearing pink, and which is why we choose that color. And I think you guys also have chosen pink as well. What's up with that? Is there a similar attitude there? Or is it just something is there something a little more meaningful to it, or is it just straight up we're fucking with you?
Well, okay, there's two answers. So one would be like our colors is green for green country, which is this part of Oklahoma. Gold for trophies are fucking gold. Maybe, I don't know. I might be making this up right now. And pink is the cartoon color for a heart. For your heart. I don't know. No, I mean, I think it's important for every man to go through like a really intense emasculation phase.
A pink face.
Yeah, real talk. I drive a Prius and have a Chihuahua right now. So I mean, it's all good. No, our men's league team had the same crest that we started with. We had a men's league team. What's the men's league team? What's the mothership for you guys? It's Stegman's, right?
Stegman's.
Okay, so ours is Boston Avenue Athletic Club, which my restaurant's on Boston Avenue. The park that our first game was at is between Boston Avenue and a street called Boulder, and Boulder actually has a team too, which is kind of cool. There's a derby, then they're pretty good. And where we actually play now is at Veterans Park. So, but yeah, we were a men's league team, and me being a dork was like, our jerseys, we should have a sponsor and we should have a crest. So my roommate at the time just came up with this like crest with a lion and a unicorn, and the backdrop was pink. And they get reversed all of the time. And the unicorn used to have a red eye. We don't do it anymore, but for the men's league team, the story of the men's league club was the red eye that the unicorn had was because he was angry and a little stoned. But yeah, no,
he's graduated to strictly CBD oil now. So.
Yeah, I know, he's getting older and his joints are achy. No, unicorns have an alicorn on there. That's what that shit is, and it's has healing properties. So the unicorns never need CBD oil. They just like.
Oh, fair.
No.
Do you play Dungeons and Dragons or something? How would you know that?
Well, when your unicorn gets brought into question as much as ours does, like it serves you well to be like well versed on unicorns. So
excuse me, sir, the horn is called an alicorn, and it's got incredible healing properties.
I mean, you need to know a lot about a unicorn.
As such.
You need to know a lot about unicorns when their high-profile attorneys come in and try to take it from you.
That's fair. That's fair.
I completely agree. So, yeah, I mean, you're like late 20s and early 30s. You're like, yeah, let's make it pink. It's either going to be pink or brown. Like, what's it going to be? So we went with pink, and we just haven't turned back since.
So to kind of bring this to a conclusion before we get to our next segment with you, out of all the things that you've done since your inception of the club, and you've kind of talked about how awesome the first game was, and the first year in general was. What's your favorite moment since inception outside of that opening day?
Man, outside of that opening day that's a great question that I do not know that I can. You're gonna have to give me a second, because we've been lucky. We've been a really successful club. The past couple years, I think the parity has in our conference has gotten a lot better, so it's been a lot closer. But Jesus,
Man, this isn't even a speed round question. Can't wait
I
to see.
know.
Can't wait to see what you do there.
Well, it's such a terrible question though, because it's like, hey, over the last 7 years of things that have gone down, like, what's your favorite thing? It's like, I don't know, John. What's your favorite fucking song? It rivals that question. You know, I gotta probably give like a more broad blanket answer, and I think the relationships that you build and just the strengthening of the family, like that process is just, it's the most important part. I think my favorite part as I get older in this is, we have a foundation now, and what started as 20 kids in one school is now about 1,020 schools, and the metric, what's required for them to participate is they've got to attend X amount of, like, a percentage of school, which is like 90%. Their grades have to be a C or B average, and like they can't misbehave in school. And it's essentially weaponized the teachers. Like, they're on a sign-up sheet, and when they're being little fucks in class, like, she walks over to the sheet and they all like get in their seats and they start studying and stuff. So like, it's been really impactful to watch like these kids in lower income schools have something available to them that's actually making a difference. I mean, this is wonderful. On game day, if someone said, hey, cut one of your balls off and we'll give you 3 points, like, I'd fucking consider that shit. Like, you guys, I'm sure, are the same way I am. Like, game day, it's like, whatever we need to do to win, I will cheat. I will whatever. I mean, there's a board member saying that, mind you, but you get my drift. But as time goes, like, no one remembers the third game of our season in our second year. But if what we do allows us some sort of path or conduit to having a more impactful presence in our community, I think that is a direction that's been really fun for me to be a part of. And it really keeps a lot of my attention recently, especially because I think that, that's a way to genuinely make a difference. So yeah, I think overall the ability to create a path to, connecting with kids and giving them an opportunity to be more than they might not have been able to be without it has been probably the best thing for me.
So, see, you drew out a very thoughtful, awesome answer. It was a good question.
Trust me, my spectrum's wide. I can be a total dickhead and a fucking as well, but yeah.
Well, I think that this is a great pivot point to our next segment, which is the world famous Lupient Automotive Speed Round.
Hell yeah.
80% of Americans own a car. If you're in that 20%, then we have the folks that can help you join us cool kids. Head to Lupient Automotive in Golden Valley or check out their inventory online at lupient.com. Okay, Sonny, here's how it goes. 10 questions. It's called the speed round just because we needed a name for it. And we had an auto sponsor, so it just worked. So 10 questions. We can't go to the next one until you answer the previous one. Speed round is a suggestion, so if you need a little bit of time, we get it, but we're not on for another 4 hours, so try to be mindful of that. We ask all of our guests, do you need like to refill a drink? Do you want to stretch? Or are you good to go? Do we prime you enough that you're ready to dive in?
No, I've been drunk since this thing's began.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I was gonna say since yesterday, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, no,
Not just shift drinking.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
All right, so first question. What is the name of this famous producer, actor, and singer who was elected into the U.S. House of Representatives in 1994 and represented California's 44th Congressional District?
Oh, God.
He's real famous. He was on Scooby-Doo a couple times.
It's probably something with my name in it, right? So, Sonny Bono.
You are correct. Question number 2. What is the brand name for this famous homemade Caesar salad dressing that is sold at Penny's grocery store?
I like this one because Petty's has been out of business for 2 years, but you can find it conveniently at your local Reese's at 18 Tulsa locations. Yeah, my dad does our Caesar salad dressing and our red sauce. So yeah, that would be D'Alessandro.
John, did you know that it was literally his dad's company?
Yeah, I totally did.
Oh, okay. Then that's an extra easy question.
So,
Yeah.
so Sonny, I will give you the utmost respect because we have done this not 99 times, but maybe like 60 times, and nobody gets that their first two questions are first name, last name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you have cracked the code. So
Well,
hats off to you.
Good luck, number 100. Eat my dust, dick.
So question number 3. I'm sure you have a week's or more worth of stories from your playing days, but what's one of the more unique stories of your playing career, both either on or off the field, that you can share with us?
I would have to say, if this is a speed round, I would say Otto Orff on the corners of the penalty box diving into the crowd at the Bradley Center was so reminiscent of like Jimmy Superfly Snuka. It was an incredible moment. So yeah, Otto Orff diving into the crowd, fighting fans in Milwaukee, and being he went to jail, which is incredible.
I was in attendance as a youth for that.
Were you really?
Yeah, I totally was. I mean, my family's been season ticket holders for the Wave for decades. So yes, I was there, and I remember my dad saying, "Well, that guy's never going to play in Milwaukee ever again."
That's okay. And I'm going to fuck your speed round real quick.
That's fine. That's fine.
So my roommate in Wichita was a buddy of mine. He didn't play on the team, and he was like, "Hey, you're playing Cleveland tonight. Otto Orff's my favorite player." I was like, "How am I not your favorite player? I'm the third favorite goalie in the league," which is so stupid. But he's like, "You need to get me his autograph." So I'm like, "All right, whatever." So after the game, I'm like, "Hey man, good game. Do you mind signing this for my buddy?" He's like, "Sure, no problem." And so it says, "To Adam, best wishes, Otto Orff." And I bring it to him, right? Job done. And he's like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "It's an Otto Orff autograph." And he says, "Yeah, I get that, but it doesn't say from your best friend, Otto Orff." So we played him in Cleveland like 2 months later, and I had to travel with this fucking picture and bring it to Otto Orff again and write, "Hey, will you add to from your best friend?" I think he had like to my main man, Adam, from your best friend, Otto Orff. It was so stupid, but he was kind enough to do it. So. Yeah, sorry to fuck up the speed round.
That's okay. I mean,
that's a good story.
Considering he's a guy who jumped into the stands at a professional indoor soccer league game to fight people, I'm sure that you had a little trepidation going back to the well on that one.
For real. For fucking real.
Okay, so number 4, seeing you're a goalkeeper, what's your go-to brand of gloves?
Right now it's Outlaw. There's a great little company that works with us right now. It's a guy from Tulsa, and they do a really nice glove. So when I do get out and train some younger goalkeepers, or get out every now and again, I'll jump in and train with the guys. I'll rock some Outlaw. Back in the day, outdoors, the old school Yule Sport APGs, because they were like cheating. They had like fucking honey and glue on them and shit, which was amazing. And then indoors, it didn't fucking matter. That shit's either gonna hit you or it's not. So yeah, I just wore like old ski mittens. I think I can't even remember.
All right, so number 5, if you're stranded on a desert island, we ask this question a lot. What's the one condiment you would take with you that you'd have for the rest of your life?
Oh, fucking easy. Horseradish.
So here's the funny thing. We talked about goalkeepers being a little odd. Our goalkeeper coach said sweet relish. So I would adamantly said sweet relish. So I would say
no, it was Doug Sidney, didn't he?
Yeah. So he said sweet relish. So it's your sweet relish, or his sweet relish, and your horseradish are 2 of the most unique answers. It's interesting that you're both goalkeepers. Anyways, number 6. You don't have to tell us if you don't want to, but is there any sort of secret hazing ritual that the MPSL board members have to go through when they're elected?
It's probably a night out with me, probably.
You are the hazing ritual?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of like the de facto social chair. So it's like, yeah, you got to go keep up with them for a night or you're not in there. I wish there was, just because we get kind of all types, right? I mean, I would love to like be like, hey, Kabajoof, you've got to do this voodoo with me right now. Shout out Rhode Island Reds. Shout out not Cincinnati Reds. Leave them motherfuckers alone.
All right, number 7. Who's your favorite soccer player? Past or present or whatever. Your all-time favorite.
Oh, I was a big Gigi Buffon fan. He made his debut 1 week before I did for Parma against AC Milan. Got a shutout. I lost, I think, 15-9 against the Dallas Lightning. So, similar paths. I love Gigi, man. He was my guy. Gigi was my dude.
So number 8, everybody gets one of these. The would you rather question. Would you rather have your shirt be always 2 sizes too big or 1 size too small?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna say too big. That way, if I had a lady friend stay over, she could have something nice to wear, right? A dress. It becomes a versatile argument, a versatile article of clothing at that point, right?
Yeah, slap a belt on it, it's a dress.
Am I allowed to cut the sleeves off either of them? I might want to change my answer here.
You can do whatever you want. It's your shirt.
Then I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna go. I'd like to put on 20 pounds and midriff the tight one.
Perfect.
So crop that thing off all 80s style, yeah.
And just listen to some Def Leppard in an old Trans Am.
I've got a great Def Leppard story, but I'll tell it another time.
All right, sounds good. So number 9, we talked about Gigi was kind of your favorite player. Yep. Who was your biggest influence in soccer?
That's a good question. That's a hard one to answer quickly. It's a guy called Victor Moreland, who was like my other dad. He played for the old NASL Tulsa Roughnecks back in the day, and he was a Man United youth team player. Played at Derby County. I'm sure you guys probably who are the old NASL guys in Minnesota still? Like, is Alan Merrick still there?
Yeah, Alan Merrick, Wiley, a couple of those guys.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Victor Moreland was my guy, and he became my club coach at like 15 when I was 15. And, when I was 17 was when I started playing with the Tulsa Roughnecks indoors. And I was lucky enough I got to play with them, which was super cool. Like, I babysat his kids growing up. They're like my little brothers. Now, he was just like my other dad. I'm sure you guys probably had that figure also, but he was like my other dad. And he was literally the hardest motherfucker ever to play too. He was just an animal on the field. The first time I ever played like in a professional game, I made a really good save, and I took a half second to kind of pat myself on the back. And he's this really hard Northern Irish guy, and he was on that line. He was like, "Sonny, play the fucking ball to my fucking feet," and I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like, I thought I just did good. Like, you're just yelling at me. We get into the locker room, and he like pins me to the wall. He's like, "It's a fucking man's game out there." It was super valuable even at that level. Like, I look back on it, I know he's probably fucking with me, but everywhere I went, like, I mean, you probably know you probably know David Moxham, right? An old Milwaukee Wave player. Like, he was a total asshole. Like, great dude, but like, he was always down for fucking with players and was the hard man, and just always taking the piss and everything. And after being around Victor and growing up around Victor Moreland, it was none of that really got to me at all. So yeah, he was my dude. Scored a goal against England for Northern Ireland as well.
Nice. So you've almost made it. The last question, number 10. If you could be the president of FIFA for a day, what's the one thing that you would change and why?
Probably disband that motherfucker.
Burn that bitch down.
Burn that bitch to the fucking ground. God, these are questions where I feel like I'm going to set a new record for the longest time taken to answer the fucking speed.
They're good answers.
They're good answers, though. That's why it's a suggestion.
I hope that your listeners find them somewhat entertaining, because I don't mean to just stall this out. But I mean, it's in such a desperate need of reform and figuring out, how to keep corruption out of it, that I just got to go with 12-foot tall goals probably.
Yeah, make the goal bigger.
Because now I mean, it's fucked. I mean, I don't know. I guess if I were president of FIFA, what I would do is I would call for the United States to become in compliance with the FIFA laws of as they pertain to promotion relegation. I think would probably be my what I would do, and I think that's a very American centric answer. But yeah.
Hey, it's your answer. I thought you were going to go with the old Sepp Blatter that just make the shorts tighter.
That's right. The men will wear the skirts this year.
Well, Sonny, listen, man, it's been a pleasure. I knew what we were going to get out of you for this podcast, and you definitely didn't disappoint. I really appreciate you coming on with us, and I hope you guys have much success in all of your endeavors in Tulsa, whether it be a restaurant or soccer. And I'm really looking forward to linking up here in a few days.
Guys, thank you so much. I had an absolute fucking blast. Nate, it was great to meet you. I hope you're able to catch a beer with us while we're in Minneapolis.
Dude, I wouldn't miss it.
And yeah, thank you guys for having me on. If you guys ever need anything at all, give me a shout. Same goes for the rest of you U.S. soccer people. Holler.
All right, Sonny. Thanks, man. We'll see you in a few days.
See you guys.
All right, bye.
That is all for this week, folks. Big thanks to Tulsa Athletics soccer owner Sonny D'Alessandro for joining us. And as always, thank you to our sponsor, Summit Brewing. Hey, winter ale is back, folks. I'm drinking one right now. And boy, am I glad, because it is one of the best sets of suds for these cold, dark days. Keep a lookout for it at your local watering holes and liquor stores. Summit Brewing, a more meaningful brew since 1986. Hey, it's giving season, man. If giving back to the community means a lot to you, maybe it is time to give to the club that gives back. Minneapolis City is a 501c3, and we provide a safe, reliable, and fun environment for young people to play the beautiful game. Look for us playing with kids in parks and community centers all around the city, and consider that year-end tax-deductible donation to a true city-focused organization. Like John mentioned earlier in the show, memberships are now available for 2019, and they are on sale. $60 is going to get you a ticket to every home game, a fancy new membership scarf, and a say in club decisions, like say we want to add a U19 team. Visit mplscitysc.com for more information.
And we will never cut out seats in rows.
You will always have a seat in Minneapolis City. That's a good fucking slogan. Calling all Twin Cities FIFA players, join us for the first Minneapolis City FIFA 19 Xbox One tournament happening Saturday, December 15th at the Club Shop. Everyone who registers is guaranteed at least 2 games. You can play for fun, you can play for prizes, you can play just to drop humiliating sellies on unwitting opponents. I like the Homer Simpson run around in a circle on the ground one. Only $10 to enter. Register today at mplscitysc.com. Keep in mind, you must be 18 plus for this first tournament, and spots are very limited, so do not drag your feet. If you want to, it is easy to hit us up on Twitter at The People's Pitch or through email at mcscpodcast@gmail.com.
There it is.
Addresses I got incredibly confused earlier in the show. All questions, comments, and concerns are welcome. I'd love to hear from you if you went through the same seating issue, or if you're currently going through the same seating issue with Minnesota United, just to compare notes and to see what they told you. If you want, we can feature you on the show. And that is all for this week. Once again, we're going to leave you with our house MC, Miles Stockman Willis, a.k.a. Malaise, with an original track for you called When You Fall. I am Nate, that is John, and until next time, fam, just
you got hoofed.
D2 All-Region First Team member.
You got hoofed.
See, I see the real you. yeah, boo, I found you. So don't ever frown when loneliness is around you. I'ma show you that someone should crown you, not clown you, but pursue virtue would never hurt you. Critical in distance, touch is digital, biblical. Till death, love is unconditional. Telling us we're a team and not two individuals. For you, I give my spleen, the spiritual and the physical. Loving what is fragile isn't always fixable, but I see what's invisible. See it with vex visuals. Grab my hand, hold it. We gon' think the unthinkable. I promise we will float, that our boat's unsinkable. I promise that I'ma drown in you, let you drown in me. Reveal the recipe, you I love to overfeed. I love it. Let's proceed slowly, not go bad like moldy. Ravioli, rigatoni. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Free, girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Temptation's about to give in, but I'm staying true. If I sin, may I be forgiven for a few. What we got to lose? Nothing. You just gotta listen. Such a good girl. Great. Just made a bad decision. One and done. She looking fine. Nothing missing. But got my hands tied like I'm the villain. Evil only swallows pride, but I'm sometimes kidding. Finger liquor kitty. After feed the kittens. Cute shit. Kiss me softer than a baby's grip. New sense of high when she bites her lower lip. If she quit, make my heart skip, then snip. When we're together like ice cream mixed with some mint pepper. Shawty had to rescue my respiratory. Wants a man who's a man, that is mandatory. Only without her off the pad, like I never met with Dory. Help her write her story, take the qualms on her quarry. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Selfie timeless as the rollie. Always be my plus one. Shawty is my bogey. In it for the long haul, not for the trophy. Every day, feeling greater than Tony. Falling for her, and I think she falling for me too. Falling like two V's, make a W. Type of dude to build you up and make the rubble move. Type of dude to have my phone out all in front of you. Only cause you got my back. Presence always sets the mood. Never starts any trouble without any proof. No problems if there was, make the puzzle poof. Laugh it off. Goofballs, you should see the spoof. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Free, girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall.